Whoa! I never thought about that!
Today, we're diving into a truly mind-bending biological mystery. We're looking at how modern medical science can quite literally hit the pause button on your mind. It's something millions of people experience every single year, and yet it remains one of the most incredible feats of chemistry and biology we've ever stumbled upon.
Picture this scenario for a second. You're lying there, completely awake. You're chatting, you're thinking, you're looking around the room, and then, bam, the very next second, hours have just vanished. Where does your mind actually go during that blank space of time?
Literally, hours just disappear. No dreams, zero awareness, absolutely no memory of the procedure. It's exactly like your consciousness was temporarily unplugged. But how does medicine actually pull that off? What is really happening inside your head?
Section 1. The mystery of the mind. What exactly is being turned off?
Well, to understand what's turned off, we first have to define what's normally on. Consciousness. It's your awareness of yourself, your surroundings, your thoughts, and your sensations. Basically, it's what makes you, you. Scientists think this profound awareness exists because billions of brain cells are just constantly chattering away with each other in this rapid-fire state of communication.
Section 2. Your brain's electrical network and how these cells communicate. So inside this massive network in your head, neurons are constantly talking using neurotransmitters. Think of these as tiny chemical messengers, sending electrical and chemical signals all across your brain. Literally every thought, emotion, memory, or just the fact that you're awake right now happens because your neurons are rapidly tossing these messengers back and forth.
Now there's a really common misconception here. People tend to think anesthesia is just a super deep nap. Not even close. Normal sleep still features highly organized brain activity. You know, your brain's doing some housekeeping, you're dreaming. But general anesthesia, it's characterized by severely disrupted brain communication. It's kind of like a localized internet outage, disconnecting parts of the network so the computers literally cannot talk to each other anymore.
Section 3. Hitting the brake pedal to slow down the brain.
Okay, here's the exact sequence of how doctors hit those medical brakes. First off, anesthetic drugs crank up the effect of a calming neurotransmitter called GABA, which is essentially your brain's built-in brake pedal. Second, as GABA floods the system, neuron activity dramatically slows down. Third, because the neurons are failing to coordinate with each other, your conscious awareness begins to fade out. And finally, memory formation grinds to a total halt, and pain signals are completely blocked from reaching your awareness.
Section 4. 3 types of anesthesia and the different levels of consciousness.
The thing is, doctors don't always need to hit the brakes on your entire brain. It really depends on the procedure, and we basically rely on 3 main categories. Local anesthesia affects just one tiny area, like when a dentist numbs a single tooth, and you're completely awake. Then there's regional anesthesia, which blocks signals from a bigger zone, like an epidural during childbirth. You're still awake for that one. But general anesthesia, used for major surgery, affects the whole body and renders you entirely unconscious.
Section 5. Erasing pain and memory under general anesthesia. Instantly jumping forward in time. You know, if you've ever had surgery, you've probably noticed this wild phenomenon. Because your disrupted brain network simply cannot store memories normally under general anesthesia, your mind records absolutely zero passage of time. That is exactly why waking up from major surgery feels like you've just teleported hours into the future. Your biological tape recorder was simply turned off.
Let's take a super quick look at the timeline here, because bypassing pain completely changed human history. Before the 1800s, surgery was, well, terrifying. It was an extremely painful ordeal and an absolute last resort. But then, in the 1800s, doctors started experimenting with substances like ether, nitrous oxide, you probably know it as laughing gas, and chloroform. They figured out that patients could undergo invasive surgeries without feeling a thing, totally unconscious. It was an absolute game changer, and that paved the way to today, where anesthesiology is a miraculous, highly monitored, and incredibly safe science.
And honestly, you can rest easy knowing just how safe it is now. You've got specialists, anesthesiologists, in the operating room the entire time. They're rigorously monitoring everything: your heart rate, oxygen levels, brain activity, breathing, the whole shebang. They're continually adjusting the medications in real time to keep you perfectly balanced and perfectly safe while you're in that paused state.
Section 6. Medicine's greatest unsolved mystery.
Tiny molecules temporarily altering the experience of reality itself. We know exactly what these chemicals do to your brain network. We can track the GABA, we can literally watch the electrical signals slow down. But here's the crazy, paradoxical part. Scientists still do not completely understand how consciousness works in the first place. We know exactly how to turn the lights off, but we still don't really fully understand where the light comes from.
How wild is that?
It is, quite literally, temporarily pressing pause on the mind. Anesthesia remains one of the strangest mysteries in neuroscience, and for sure, one of the absolute greatest achievements in human medicine. It's a chemical marvel that lets doctors safely hit pause on your reality, fix the physical body, and then seamlessly bring your consciousness back online.
Which leaves us right here, staring at the ultimate question. Since we don't fully understand it, what do you think consciousness actually is? Because the deepest why behind our awareness disappearing remains a total mystery, it really forces us to wonder about the very nature of human existence. What exactly is this reality we've figured out how to just switch on and off? I hope this explainer gave you a new appreciation for the incredible science happening inside the operating room and the incredible mystery still locked inside your own head.
And that's just one tiny big question. Imagine what's next, subscribe, and let's keep wondering.